jury was not in the courtroom today in the Michelle Troconis trial as the court gets ready for closing arguments tomorrow. Today, the lawyers met with the judge to go over instructions that will be given to the jury when they do finally get this case. Tomorrow, both sides scheduled to give their closing arguments, then jury deliberations will begin. And joining us now to talk more about this trial is former state prosecutor and criminal defense attorney Ryan McGuigan. Ryan, thank you for being here again.
Thank you for having me.
Always good to see you.
Okay, so today in court, no jury. It was the judge and the lawyers coming up with jury instructions. How does that work?
The defense and the prosecution are both allowed to participate in the jury charge, and they give their opinions on what the judge should charge for this particular case. So each side gives their opinion, and then the judge ultimately makes a decision about what that charge is going to be. Now, the jury charge is quite literally the judge telling the jury, this is what the law is. And so during the trial, the state's attorney's office has introduced evidence. And at this point, what the job of the jury is to determine what evidence is actually the facts of this case. So the state introduces the evidence, and then it's cross-examination, and then the jury says, all right, well, these are the facts. And then they take the facts and they apply those facts to the law that the judge has charged them with, and then they come back with a verdict. It's very simple.
There's a lot of evidence, 150
200
exhibits. Yeah, that's just on the state side, that 150 exhibits. So they've got their work cut out for them.
They do, and so you know, some people have asked, you know, is the jury going to come back in a day? Is it going to be a week? Is it going to be 2 days? There's a lot of evidence to go over, so they're going to have to legitimately go through all of it and acknowledge all of it, and so this is going to take several days, if not a week.
Okay.
Interesting. We've had our different talks about timelines.
And the one thing you can't do is predict the jury, right?
No, you cannot.
Yeah. Closing arguments tomorrow, how important is that? I mean, they've seen the evidence. It's been kind of a laundry list. We got this and we got this and this. Sewing this all together is pretty key to both of these cases, right?
Yeah, so the closing arguments are kind of like on Happy Days, when they would have the sequel of the Happy Days, Part 1, Part 2, and they would have a recap of what happened. It's kind of like the Happy Days moment, especially when you have a 6-week trial or a 5-week trial. This one has been. The jury has forgotten a lot of what has happened, and so they have to be reminded of why the state introduced certain things and didn't introduce certain things, and so they have to be reminded of all that. And then when the defense attorney takes his moment, what he's going to say is, I'm going to remind you of what this officer said or what that person said that contradicted something else that they said. And so you're reminding the jury of all of those key moments during the trial.
And then during deliberations, always there's questions that they may have, which then goes back to evidentiary-based items, and then they might, I mean, there could be a jockeying that goes back and forth throughout that
And then they
process.
go back and they'll ask the judge for certain instructions on things, and then he'll either provide it or he won't, if it's appropriate.
Real quickly, you surprised she didn't testify?
No. I mean, that's very, very rare that happens. It was an idea because of the language barrier, but I think that they accomplished what they wanted to with the language barrier just by having her, during her allocution, when she was saying, I don't want to testify, she did it all in Spanish.
Yeah.
So I think that they made their point.
All right.
Thank you.
McGuigan, thank you. We'll be seeing you as we progress here.
Thank you very much.
Ryan, thank you.